So I've been wanting to do this for about 3 years now, and I finally decided to take the plunge. I'm going to acquire a business. Between looking for deals and crunching the numbers to finding the hidden gems that are out there, this journey just hasn't been easy, but man, do I learn something new every day. So I'm going to jump into the biggest learnings from week 1 of starting this journey. Thing number 1, small business owners lie all the time. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. Everyone's going to lie to you at some point, and you just have to develop a nose for bullshit. So I'm recording this in my 3rd week of the business buying journey, where I'm still looking for deals, and I've been having a consistent 3 to 4 conversations a week with both business owners who are the sellers of this business and business brokers. And I've learned to use these conversations as a way to get closer to the sellers or the business brokers and to get a general idea of the business itself, but never ever to figure out whether the business is in good financial health, because that's what the numbers and the tax returns are for. Now, late last week, I had a conversation with someone who wanted to sell their chain of salons. And just based on the information that I could find on them online, just public information, I thought it was a good deal, given their asking price. Spoke to the owner, got a good understanding of the profits that each salon was generating, and decided to move forward with reviewing the profit and loss statements. And upon looking at the numbers, it became clear that the business just wasn't doing as well as the owner made it seem. And the truth is, this isn't uncommon at all, especially among people who have already listed their businesses to sell on the websites that are out there. You're going to find so many people who are looking to part with their business and want to make it seem as valuable as possible. And that's just the sort of landscape that we're dealing with. And like I said, we have to have a nose for bullshit. So lesson number 1, believe the numbers, not the person. Thing number 2, make sure you know what you're buying. So I came across a deal last week. It was an e-commerce business that I was really excited about because they were posting such healthy numbers in terms of sales and their profits. And the opportunity that I saw there was that the return on ad spend was really low, and that's something I would know how to fix. Now, the owner claimed to own the patents for the products that they sold online, which they would be willing to part with as part of the sale of this business. But then upon speaking to them, it became clear that they didn't actually own the patent for the products, but they licensed the IP. And that was the one thing that they could sell along with the business. Now, this in itself isn't a red flag, obviously, if the licensing agreement had held up. But what threw me off here was claiming to own the patent only to own just the license for it, which is what I found a little bit suspicious here. And this was really upsetting because I got way too attached to the business, more attached to it than I should have been, and got carried away by the idea of getting something that was already posting great numbers and just doing a minor tweak to their marketing so that they generate even better numbers. And that's something that I shouldn't have felt in the first place, and I had to walk away. And there are just too many deals out there to enter into one that could go sideways really quickly, even if that was only a gut feeling from my part. Thing number 3, and I've written this down here as be a bitch, but what I meant to say is learn to be upfront. Now, as a business owner, I always regard myself as a more accommodating negotiator, and that's always worked in my favor when it comes to selling my services, especially through my marketing agency. But I've found that that quality doesn't quite translate when you are on the buy side of the deal, at least not all the time. And what I mean by that is, even just within the first week of having these conversations, I've had to learn how to approach them from a position of power to be able to communicate what my concerns are with the deal and be just honest and upfront about it. And this sometimes means putting the business owners on the other side of that conversation in a really uncomfortable position. It means having to let them know in a non-confrontational, non-emotional way why I think their business may not be worth as much as they think it's worth, or even just let them down easy and to let them know that we won't be doing the deal at all. And the truth is, the first few conversations that I had to do this, it was more uncomfortable than it had to be, and I just cringed hearing the words just come out of my own mouth. And that's okay. That's just the reality of deal making. It's definitely a learning curve, and it's one that I knew would push me to do things that I was uncomfortable with. But that's just part of it. That's just part of deal making. And this also often means dealing with anger from the other party when a deal just doesn't work. And it doesn't mean that I'm not cut out for it. It's just something that's going to take practice and time to get better at and to fine tune how I feel coming out of these conversations as well. And thing number 4 is that working a spreadsheet is going to save you a ton of time. And for me, this has meant looking at more deals each week and moving forward quite quickly on the ones that I'm interested in because I've got a good overview of the revenue, the profitability, the biggest expenses, and of course, the debt service coverage ratio if I want to finance a portion of the deal. There are lots of great free calculators out there that you can download and use to plug in the numbers and see if a deal works. And for me personally, what has worked is downloading a bunch of these calculators and playing Frankenstein to use the most useful parts of each thing to make my own calculator and my own spreadsheet. Now, if you're just starting out, I highly recommend Leo Landaverde and Cody Sanchez, who are YouTubers who are also highly familiar with buying and selling businesses. I'm going to leave links to their channels down below, and I would recommend taking a look at both their content and the free tools that they have on offer. So this video and the series that I'm going to be filming to document my journey into buying a business for the very first time is going to be different from my usual content, but I'm going to keep at it and I'm going to keep adding to the series because information on how to buy a business from the experts, that's really accessible and that's almost everywhere these days. But I found that following someone along on the learning journey can be a completely different experience, and I wanted to document that and learn publicly. And I have to admit, so far it has been scary and lonely and even downright embarrassing as a first timer. But I do hope it'll resonate with you if you're on a journey too, or are further along in your journey and have valuable feedback. So if you want to follow along on my journey, please subscribe to my channel and I'll see you in the next one.